every time I lose a match, it just pushes me to want to do better.
So at what point did you realize you could be number one in the world?
It still kind of doesn't feel real now. Like, crazy story. And I always thought oh, I'll be number one in the world.
Who'd win a fight, you or Hayden?
I'm taking Anna Leigh all day. No offense, Hayden.
What keeps you pushing at 18 years old to keep accomplishing more and more and more?
It's my ultra competitive nature. I don't know.
What are your thoughts on this whole paddle situation?
It's nuts, man.
I feel like that was when Anna Leigh Waters truly became Anna Leigh Waters.
You're still so young. You've done so much in this sport.
The PPA likes to say it sucks to be good.
Today on Pickleballers, we're joined by two of the most recognizable names in the sport. She's the number one player in the world in singles, doubles, and mixed, known for her dominance, athleticism, and mentality. Alongside her is her mom, coach, and one of the sharpest minds in pickleball. Please welcome Anna Leigh Waters and Leigh Waters, a duo that's helped shape the modern game, continues to raise the bar. Thanks for being here, you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
And I would just say, I've been in the sport for 5 years, and I have a daughter. She's 4.5. And I will say that y'all's journey, the mother-daughter journey, has been a total joy to watch. It's probably been my favorite storyline. And I think I've said this a few times, but I mean that wholeheartly. I think
That's
just
so cool.
y'all getting to go on this journey together, play, win so many championships, and now you coaching more. And I'm super inspired by it. And I hope that I get to do that with my daughter.
Thank you.
Thank you for being
Very
here.
nice, Jared. Wow.
It's the nicest thing
was
I've ever
hard
said.
Never
I
heard
know.
that side of him.
Touched.
That's crazy.
Thank you.
So one of the questions we like to ask people is, how did you get here? How did you get to this seat? And you can kind of interpret it how you want, but it's obviously pretty amazing what you've accomplished. But how'd you get here?
Oh man,
it's a big question.
That's a
But
very
that's
big
why I interpret it how you
How
want.
long do you have?
I know. We've kind of found pickleball by chance in a way. We probably would have found it, but maybe not as soon as we did if it weren't for Hurricane Irma coming to Florida and us going to where my grandfather lived and being extremely bored and him telling us to go play pickleball. So it's kind of cool that I feel like the universe kind of had a play in us starting pickleball, which a lot of people ask me. They're like, did you play pickleball in a past life? And I'm like, well, maybe I have. I don't know. It's
I kind of believe in some past lives. I think that's sick.
know. So maybe that's how I found it by chance. But I don't know. I feel like our journey kind of just started with me playing it for fun. I think even when Mom started playing pro, it was just her doing something fun. She obviously had some competitiveness still in her and she wanted to do something on that side of it. So I think just kind of finding this community and having fun, playing the sport kind of led to wanting to do more with it. It wasn't like I started pickleball wanting to be the number one player in the world. I started playing pickleball because I love playing pickleball with my mom and my family and just for the fun of it. So I think it's kind of cool that I wasn't growing up oh, I want to be a pro pickleball player. It just kind of happened because I loved it.
Yeah, totally. And you talking about family, I mean, the whole reason we started playing tournaments was because my dad played, who introduced us to the sport. And it was something that we could do together, as a generational family. We went to tournaments with my parents, and Steven would come, and we'd travel the country and play pickleball and sightsee and do. And it was like Anna Leigh said, we were doing the pickleball for fun, but we were building memories with our family, doing other things. And
I feel like I kind of grew up with the sport because as I got older, the sport got bigger and bigger. I feel like if I was just kind of thrown into it at a younger age, it might have I might have turned out maybe a lot worse or a lot different. So I feel like it's been nice to kind of grow up with the sport and kind of take one day by day and not think about too far into the future and just kind of enjoy everything. But obviously, I mean, it took a lot of hard work to get here as well. Because once I decided that I wanted to do this as my, job at the time or my career, it was all right, put all the focus on it. I feel like my mom had a big help in that because she was such a good player. I just had someone that I could go and practice with. I remember we used to play skinny singles and I'd get absolutely annihilated by her. And
what level were you at the time?
So it took me 1 year to get from 3-0 to 5-0.
1 year.
That's savant.
So,
yeah.
Crazy.
How old were you?
I was I played
when you were 10.
Yeah, I played my first tournament at 10. So my first tournament I played 3-0 and I played the women's division and they had so many complaints because I wasn't a 3-0 that they bumped me to 3-5 the next day for mixed. But I didn't win the 3-5 mixed. But then the next tournament I played 4-0. and then I won the 4-0 tournament, and we played a couple more 4-0s, and then I played 5-0. I think I won I played 4-5, won 1-4-5 tournament, and then we played 5-0.
What year was this?
This was, so we started in
2018.
This would be 2018.
And was 5-0 the same as it is now, do you think? Or was it softer?
I mean,
No.
So it was like a 4, you were like a strong 4-5?
4-5,
Yeah.
I would say. And then crazy story. Now, I don't think many people know this, but what took me kind of, I would say, from like 5 or high 4-5 to pro was I figured out I needed prescription glasses because I had been playing with no glasses.
Oh,
Is
wow.
that the key? Is that the key
Like,
for
maybe
like,
you need to get your eyes checked.
I'm blaming
Glasses?
my poor game. I did just get a bronze in 4-8 for my first medal. But I'm
Nice.
blaming my poor game on prescription glasses.
No, it's serious. Like I wore prescription glasses and I played the 5-0 tournament and we like annihilated everyone. And
You
I
could
was
just
like,
see the ball.
I was like, I see the ball. And sometimes now I'll like play without them and I'm like, I'm way worse.
Oh, so you
like,
don't no LASIK yet. Or are you going to get LASIK?
No, I don't know that it's worth it.
Yeah.
Well,
right
I mean,
now,
you like
'cause
the sunglasses anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've tried to wear contacts.
Yeah.
But the contacts like move around too much and there's like a 0.5%, like you can see less by
Yeah.
like 0.5% or something, and I swear that I like
You
can
feel it.
So I
With
wear
contacts.
that's why I wear with contacts.
Yeah.
So that's why I wear glasses, and also my eyes are pretty sensitive to the sun, so I like wearing the sunglasses. But that's what took me kind of like that's how I got
crazy.
better. And then she was supposed to play a tournament in Texas actually, and her women's partner pulled out last second, and I was like, and she was like, Anna Leigh, do you want to play with me?
In what level? This is pro?
This is pro, yeah. And I said, sure, like let's do it. So I played the pro, and I think I also decided that because I was playing pro in the women's, I think if you were playing one event pro, you couldn't like play. So I played like pro mix and pro singles. We actually played each other in the pro singles twice in the tournament.
Don't ask us
Who won?
about
Who won?
that.
I won
Don't
the first
ask.
time. She won the second time, and
So
I
were
had a
you
double-
were you going hard?
I had a double dipper in the final.
first time she won the first game, and then she actually coached me against herself. And I beat her because of her coaching. So then for the finals,
What did
she's
you
like,
say?
I'm not coaching
Did you give it away, or were you actually?
I don't remember what I said. I was trying.
She was trying,
Come
but she
on,
was like
you can't-
coaching. She's like, Anna Leigh, in your backhand, you need to do this. She was like telling me stuff. And then I remember for the final, we're getting
Were
ready
you
to.
receptive? Were you like, okay, mom? Were you like,
Yeah,
don't
'cause
tell me what to do?
I was mad that I was losing. So I was like, yeah, I'll
Zoe,
take
my daughter, would be like, don't tell me what to do, Dad. I know
No,
that."
I was
Zoe
listening.
would-
I was 100% listening. And then I remember we were going to dinner before our singles match or something, and she would like wouldn't talk to me. She would like talk to me a little bit at dinner, and she was like, "I need a glass of wine." She like drank a glass of wine, and then
my
she
gosh.
smacked my butt in the final. She beat me in the 2 out of 3. I don't think I won a game, and then she killed me in the game to 15. And it was funny because they had cardboard cutouts of us at the tournament, so. We were actually in a Lifetime's, or not a Lifetime.
Yeah, we were.
A Lifetime, and they had this like everybody that was watching was like up on a balcony, and the people who were cheering for my mom had like my mom's cardboard cutout, and then the people that were cheering for me had my cardboard cutout, and like every time somebody would win a point, it was really crazy.
That was
This is
the
in
last
Florida?
singles. That was the last singles tournament I ever played.
and your only one.
my only one. My only one.
So she
never played
won
one
it.
after that.
She won it, and then didn't play it anymore.
Why? Why'd you stop?
You're the
I
best
didn't want
singles
to play
record of all
her,
time.
right?
Yeah.
I didn't want to play Anna Leigh.
Yeah, so she maybe has like the most. She's beaten me the most times in singles of anybody.
And so you're
But-
pro at this point. Like,
Well, I didn't know I was pro.
Yeah.
So then we play in the women's, and we play Lucy Kovalova and Sarah Ansberry in the final, and we lose in the 2 out of 3. Like we won one game though. We took them to 3, and at the time Lucy was like 2
Number
in the
one,
world
her
or
and
number
and
one.
you're 12 years old still?
I'm 11 at this tournament.
It's insane. What's up, pickleballers? Are you looking for the perfect energy boost on and off the pickleball court? Look no further than Rainstorm Clean Energy. It's not only great for energy, but it's great for your skin and hair. Look at my skin and look at my hair. Do you want that? Yes, you do. Fuel your game today with Rainstorm Clean Energy, available on Amazon.
At what point did you know, like, you're obviously 11, 12 playing pickleball. At what point did you know, like, this is kind of becoming like a full-time job? Like, I'm having to do this as a profession rather than it's just something fun I'm doing with my mom, I'm doing because of my
Wasn't
family.
until a few years later because
yeah.
of your other sports.
I honestly, for the first couple years that I was even playing pro pickleball, still liked soccer more. So
And
I
you're
was
a high-level soccer player, right?
Yeah, I was supposed to, during COVID, I was supposed to go to Germany to play under like a pro for like their younger kids or whatever, like their academy. And then COVID happened, and my parents were like, you're definitely not going there now. So I stayed home. And that's when I kind of started playing more pickleball than soccer. It was like during COVID. And I remember we came back from COVID, our first tournament, because the tour was still going on during COVID, but we weren't playing it. And we came back here. You tell the story because it's funny.
We had always played like pretty powerful. That was like our game. And we were beating people doing that, right? And then we take COVID year off from tournaments and we come back and all of a sudden everybody's hitting the ball like way harder than we are.
We didn't even medal in the tournament.
We were like
winning
terrible
to like not medaling.
We just absolutely got crushed.
What do you attribute that to?
Well, we were like, how is everybody hitting the ball so much?
We were in the parking lot like crying like we're quitting pickleball.
We found out everybody had started putting lead tape on their paddles.
It's the old tennis. It's the old
lead
tennis
tape
background.
on their paddles. We literally went home, put lead tape on our paddles, and I think the next tournament we medaled again.
Yeah.
Like it was like we just couldn't figure out why we couldn't keep up with the pace.
I should put lead tape on my paddle.
You should.
I put lead tape on my
Moral
paddle.
of the story.
But now like
I'm gonna have you put lead
tungsten
tape on my
tape,
paddle,
it's like
Roscoe.
less toxic, you know?
Yeah,
I know.
Some tape now.
Yeah.
You should see her putting lead tape on. She's got these gloves that she puts on the paddle.
You were the one who made me switch from lead tape to tungsten tape because I think I saw you doing it and I was like,
Why are you wearing gloves?
I was like, oh my God. Like,
She looks like a doctor. Like
I like had convinced myself I had lead poisoning because she was doing it. I would just take it.
I would say that's
I wouldn't
very,
even
very
wash
chance
my
you do.
hands.
That's why you act the way you do. You have
Probably. And so I started putting on tungsten tape because I'm like, oh my gosh, like I'm gonna get like sick or something's gonna happen.
It's the same thing. It's
so thank
weighted
you.
Tape.
Yeah.
I think Ben was the one who told me he had actually gotten like lead tested or something because he uses
But that
his
was from the
hands to
sushi.
put it on.
Didn't he get sushi?
I don't know.
yeah.
He said he got lead tested and he said I don't have any lead poisoning, so I'm gonna keep putting it on with my hands or something.
That's funny.
So, at what point did you realize you could be number one in the world? Well, both of y'all collectively, but you as a solo single.
It's kind of weird for me to say this, but I kind of always like knew that I.
Of course you did. I mean,
I
that's
don't know,
why
I
That's
always
how
have
champions
to.
are.
I
Yeah.
always,
It's the dog
I always
mentality.
thought, even when like Simone was better than me, I was always like, why do people think she's better than me? Like, even though she was beating me, I was like, I feel like I'm better. Like, I wasn't like saying that out loud or like still like, I don't know, it sounds cocky to say, but like you have to have that
totally.
like belief and thought. And even when I was younger, like playing tennis and soccer, I always like thought like, oh, I'll be number one in the world at like one of these sports. So I don't know. But I always like worked super hard too. It wasn't like I thought that and just like stepped on the court and played.
How good at soccer are you? I'll ask
Well,
you.
Who knows now?
I mean, yeah, I don't know now.
Or were you like what?
Well,
Where was your trajectory?
I could have definitely played. You know the Tar Heels, they're the number one women's soccer team, D1. I could have
UNC?
definitely gotten on that team.
So you were like you were really good.
Yeah.
In tennis, you played a little bit.
Tennis, I couldn't
What's
serve,
tennis?
but
Yeah, what is
I was
tennis?
like 12,
Yeah.
like so like maybe that's why I couldn't serve.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I was honestly better at soccer than I was at tennis.
Tennis, though, she had like the most perfect technique, and that was due to her coach at the time.
Yeah.
And he like she never really played tournaments because his whole thing was like, we're developing technique and we'll do tournaments later. And I'm so thankful for that because I really think that like
I think I
transferred over to
have,
pickle.
Yeah, totally.
you know those grip strength testers?
Yeah.
So like they had one at the tournaments. I think the ranchers were like bringing it around to
Yeah.
people. And Tina and Etta were like high 80s, like 90, like low 90s. And like I grab it and I'm like 55. Like my grip strength
Interesting.
is terrible.
Oh, I
And
thought you were gonna tell us it was
I think
higher.
that's why I wasn't as good in tennis because the racket always used to fly out of my hand.
Yeah.
And I think it's because my grip strength is terrible.
But I think
Interesting.
that's why you
In
have
pickleball,
like such soft hands.
that's
in
why I
pickle-
can't flick in pickleball because my grip strength's not great. But I also think that's why like I have like softer.
I go back and forth on this though in terms of like pickleball. If you should be using your wrists a lot, or if you should be holding, because you want to have like somewhat a sturdy grip, but then there's shots where you want to have like a loose grip. So I wonder how important is it really to a pickleball game? Like obviously Ben and J-Dub, like those guys can clearly do a lot more from extension because of their strong arm, strong wrist.
Yeah.
But like I feel like you don't use a lot of wrist on your shots. You have like those kind of very fundamental like pickleball technique, like no grit on the paddle. So
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, now there's grit on the new one.
now there's
right?
no,
Yeah.
but what I'm saying is back in the day there was no
Yeah.
grit, so you had to learn how
Oh,
to
it was like
hit everything
slick
without
as
your
a
wrist.
baby's bum.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
grab my pad, like my older one, and I'm like, whoa. Like
Yeah.
nobody could be swinging like they do now with the
Yeah.
old paddles. They wouldn't even make the net.
Yeah. So I have a question, and I've been thinking since you said you're going to come on the podcast, how to phrase this properly where it doesn't come off in a weird way. But so Leigh, you got injured,
Yes.
and I'm curious how that was for you. Did you you've only played a couple tournaments post the injury?
Won them all.
Right.
You won them all.
Won them all.
U.S. Open,
US
Day-
Open
Daytona.
twice.
Daytona is
Daytona.
huge. I feel like people already forgot about
And
Daytona.
it's not like you were like, who'd you guys beat in the finals? Tyra.
Tyra
and-
and
Georgia.
Georgia.
It's insane.
It's ridiculous.
So there's a bunch of questions I have around this, but I think so. Yeah, the injury. What was going through your mind?
Well, okay. So if you backtrack just a little, so before COVID 2019, end of 2019, Anna Leigh and I had won nationals. And at the time that was the biggie.
Yeah.
And it was whoa. And I actually finished the year
Number one
me
in the world.
personally, I have a plaque. I had finished the year number one, ahead of everybody.
That's
and I was
amazing.
we were thinking big things
Yeah.
2020. And then COVID came, and because we were living with my mom, who was homeschooling Anna Leigh, and nobody knew what the heck COVID was, we decided not to play any tournaments. Then we come back, 21, I guess, and it's a little bit of a struggle. We're struggling, we're winning, we're losing, we're struggling. Somehow we get back to number one.
But y'all were losing some to Lucy and Callie,
Lucy-
right?
Yeah, but
Or was it, no, was it
when we were
Simone and
Simone and
Lucy.
Lucy,
yeah, okay.
yeah.
It was Simone and Lucy.
And we had just started to beat them.
Yeah, we had just started
consistently.
just started to beat them. We're finally the number one team again, PPA, and literally the next week is nationals.
So when we played in Texas the week before nationals, I actually think we maybe played Anna and Jessie in that final. And in that final, I had to call a medical because I injured my knee
Yeah,
mid
I remember that.
mid match, and then somehow I end up playing or whatever. So I call my trainer and I'm like, "You have to come to nationals. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to play. This hurts." So he's working with me throughout nationals. We're "Don't tear your ACL." We're thinking that for me,
Yeah.
and then it ends up happening to her, which is mind blowing.
Yeah.
But that whole year, I was already starting to feel Anna Leigh is I feel like she's getting really, really good.
Yeah.
Because we had a couple tournaments where my mom was if we don't medal, if we start not medaling, that's when we'll start
And
not
what did
playing
you
together.
say?
I was loving playing with my mom. So
Yeah.
I was and we were doing really well. So I was
And she's still
yeah.
pretty young. What were you?
Yeah.
So
I
you
was-
were on board with this plan.
I was on board with this plan.
Yeah.
And we actually had a tournament or two where we got pretty upset at each other after we lost. And we called Catherine and Athena. We're hey, when this stops, I want to play with you.
Interesting.
We had called.
Yeah, we
and,
had talked
we had
to them.
talked to them about it.
But when I initially tore my ACL, it was the world was over.
Yeah.
Yeah,
oh
it
my
was
God,
bad.
I'm never going to be able to play again.
done,
This
yeah.
whole
But while we were at nationals, she didn't know she had actually torn her ACL.
yeah, I didn't find out till
But you were
weeks
dumb. You
later.
didn't play anymore.
No, I
right?
didn't
No,
play.
Yeah.
yeah.
And so I just felt like this whole thing I was getting to do with Anna Leigh, it's over.
Yeah.
And that's what was so detrimental to me. I was
Totally.
oh, it's all over. And then now looking back, I've said, I think in other interviews, I almost feel it's never a blessing to tear your ACL, but
It happened for a reason.
it happened for a reason. And I feel we're closer and have a bet more of that team and
Yeah.
than ever, more than ever.
I in my notes, I called it what I thought from my perspective was an inflection point of Anna Leigh's career.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I didn't think about that COVID maybe had y'all not playing as solid because you took that break. And then I also didn't know that y'all were having the conversations about potentially Anna Leigh playing with Catherine or
Yeah.
someone else.
Yeah.
But it felt like that was a really pivotal moment where Anna Leigh could go off on her own.
Totally.
And from what I remember, when I'd go to tournaments, you were winning a lot, but you were losing to Simone and
Yeah.
and
we lost
Lucy.
to them
It wasn't a sure thing that
six
we were gonna
times in a
win
row or
tournament.
something, and then I think we beat them the last two or something.
But even in
like that.
singles,
Oh, in
you weren't
singles.
winning every tournament.
No.
Because I remember I was in Atlanta and I was Anna Leigh's gonna win the tournament, and then you lost. I'm she's gonna start winning every tournament. and then the injury happened, and I don't know, didn't look at the results, but I feel that was when Anna Leigh Waters truly became Anna Leigh Waters.
Yeah, and
I had
the
won
GOAT.
triple crowns though before.
Oh, you had? Okay.
I had one that year. I had started winning triple
Yeah.
crowns because that year was the year I started playing with Ben.
Yeah.
And that was the one that I was struggling to win.
Were you
Before
playing
that, you-
against Ben?
Some, but I was also losing to other people. It wasn't we were playing in the final every time.
Oh,
I had
yeah.
actually beaten Ben a couple times
we go.
before.
I always thought that would be interesting, for MLP, and I know they haven't done this matchup, but like you versus Ben. Like
the last time I played Ben in a tournament was with Riley, and Ben was playing with Catherine.
At Nationals, the year I tore my ACL.
oh, really?
Yeah.
And how'd it go?
Riley and I won. It was a 3 out of 5 mix in the finals, and Riley and I won.
Who was Ben playing with?
Catherine.
Catherine, got it. Okay. But you guys don't play each other in MLP. Like I think they stack it
No,
differently,
we've never.
right?
that we've won the toss. I think every time we played.
You
them,
did play
and-
Ben once in MLP when you were on the Black
Oh, with
Diamonds.
Thomas Wilson.
I mean,
got
Dreambreaker, it's got to
smoked.
happen at some point.
Oh, me playing Ben.
Come
and-
on.
That'd be
like,
so
stop,
fun.
Stop taking that away
Give the
from
people what they want
Yeah.
sometimes, you know?
Got to talk to Ryan.
It was
I'm
fun.
gonna
It
talk
was-
to Ryan.
It was fun. She played
I played AJ
AJ in the last
Yeah.
Dreambreaker.
Because our strategy back in the day used to be to put me against the guy in the singles. But now it's like, okay, I'm probably going to win more points against the female.
I mean,
most of the
they're
time.
so good.
So you played twice. You won both tournaments. Are you going to be playing more?
I mean, Anna Leigh, we're definitely going to play the U.S. Open again next year
Yeah.
together.
Okay.
I don't know if there's a random
Daytona was just
PPA,
super
but-
weird because I wasn't going to play Daytona. And then Catherine didn't want to play it. And I was like, let's just go. Let's play this tournament.
Yeah, I don't really see me playing a PPA.
I don't know.
anytime
And now
soon.
that we've won, I'm kind of like, let's just go out on top.
Yeah,
like,
that's
we
pretty
beat
cool.
Tyra and Georgia in the final. Like,
Yeah, like I kind of wanted to prove to myself that I could rehab from the worst injury ever. Your mom knows. She's
Yeah.
done it too.
3 ACLs
And
down.
like still compete. And I feel like I did that. Like
Yeah.
I don't know what else I need
feel
to
like
prove,
too,
you know?
like mom was kind of like when she tore ACL, like, oh, my identity has been this for so long, and I think now her identity is still in pickleball as a coach. Like now
yeah.
people see her as like one of the best coaches, if not the best, which I think she is the best coach in pickleball. Now she's coaching Christian, and she showed that she could, help take Christian from where he was to like where he is now. So I think it was like I was able to kind of go out of my comfort zone and play with different women's partners, and she was able to go out of her comfort zone and
Get
coach Christian,
yeah.
which is
yeah,
he is
Whoa.
a very different
I
animal.
don't know if
to
I'm out of my
coach
comfort
than
zone
me.
here.
Is he tough to coach?
Well, he's just different than me.
It's just so different. It's just so different.
Who's easier to coach?
Oh, 100%.
Really?
me.
Why is that? Because of
He's moodier than I am.
He was very like forthcoming. Like when he asked me to coach him, he never really had a coach in tennis.
Yeah.
Like, and it was because he didn't want somebody telling him what to do or what he was doing wrong or what he was doing right.
I
or
grew
just-
up playing tennis, by the way, so
Yeah,
I've
you
known
did.
him since I was
Yeah.
like.
Was he good?
Yeah, he was good. He was top player in Florida, top player in the nation. Like
I thought you were the top player in the nation. Are you lying to me? The
I
whole
beat
s-
him.
You beat him?
Beat him.
Okay.
The mentality of Christian now in pickleball is completely different. Like clearly has matured, and like you can tell he just wants this so much
Oh,
more.
I love it. I love
Yeah.
that
No,
about
he
him.
does.
But that's what I
love-
wanted to add on to you, and we talked about this earlier. Like, yes, he shows a lot of emotion on the court, but I think it's actually nice for the fans to see people showing who they are and showing their emotion and how badly they want it. Sometimes that does come
with some
with some
warts.
behavior or
Yeah.
like some unsportsmanlike stuff. But yes, if you're not doing it towards the other player, I think it's fine. But it's kind of like, how do you teeter that line of like, hey, we really want to show the emotion, but we don't want to be, we want to be respectful.
And I think he's like trying to figure all that out, honestly,
Yeah.
because
And
I've
he's
seen
young.
like different stages of how he shows his emotion in the past year and a half or 2 years or whatever, and it is changing. So I think he'll figure it out, but he definitely wants it, and he and I are still trying to figure out like how to navigate the coaching student.
Yeah, I mean he's a
aspect.
total beast. There's no other way.
There might be people
He's a
who
beast.
want it as much as him, but there isn't anyone who wants it more. That's what I believe. Like I think he is up there with
He's
the
a
people
stud,
who's
man.
like, I want to be the best in the world, and I'm going to do everything it takes, and if that means I have to kick the ball and kind of act like that, so be it. I resonate with it, honestly, but I also like there's a bunch of juniors there now, and
Yeah.
I think it's a different level of responsibility.
I want to go back to 15, 16-year-old Anna Leigh, and really a question for you, Leigh. When did you like know this was real in terms of she's not going to college? Like she's
I always said I wasn't going to college since I was like 8 years old.
Really?
no, but like this is really like something that you're gonna change the course of your life with in terms of, you're gonna not be a kid anymore. You're not gonna go to college. You're gonna commit your whole life to doing this one thing and doing it better than anyone. Like, when did you know this was real? And then take me through the path of the few years. Now you're 18 years old. I mean, you're still so young. You've done so much in this sport.
I mean, it still kind of doesn't feel real now. Like I feel like everything I'm doing and going through is kind of like a dream. Like I don't know, like sometimes I'm even like, is this actually happening? Or I look back at something I did and I'm like, wow, I did that. Like, that's so cool. I feel like when something like really special or cool happens, it's not for like a year that I look back and realize like how cool it was. But I don't know. I feel like a little after I quit playing soccer.
That's
and
what I was
tennis,
gonna say as well.
because I was playing all three like for a while and I was still doing well in pickleball, but it wasn't until like I quit really doing all of that. But I was still in school. So like I think we have to remember that too. Like I was still dedicating a lot of my time to school. So I feel like
Were you homeschooled?
I
or
was
were you,
homeschooled,
okay.
yeah.
So you get a little more freedom. I was homeschooled too, but it's still something you got to do.
The only time I was around really kids my age was at soccer practice or like some tennis matches. So I always say I'm more comfortable around like adults than I am like if a kid my age walks up, I'm kind of like, how do I like interact with you? Like I'm like, whereas like usually it's the other way around.
I think it was like MLP or something, and it was like the younger, like the 15-year-olds, and you were 15, I think, around that age. We're all mobbing around together, like Wyatt Stone and Hayden, and
Yeah.
I don't know if Gabe was there, but like there's some other ones. And I saw at one point you kind of interacting with them, and I was always like, is Anna Leigh friends with them, or does she feel like they're like super young? Or
No, I was actually really close with all of them.
I saw the TikTok dance with Pablo.
Yeah, that was
yeah.
so fun.
Pablo's
Group
awesome.
chat was blowing up there, sending it to him back and forth. Okay,
Pablo's
so
the best.
you feel this is real for you. You're playing as a professional. You start winning. You become number one. You're achieving almost anything you possibly can in pickleball. What keeps you motivated? Like, how do you keep going? And I thought this actually last week when I saw you playing in Atlanta. Like, you talked about tearing up a little bit before like playing your singles final versus Kate. What triple crown is this for you? Like, this is
30. That was 34.
okay. That's 34. Like, what keeps you so hungry? Because you out there, you look like you want to kill, and as you should. But like, what keeps you pushing at 18 years old to keep accomplishing more and more and more?
It's my ultra competitive nature. I don't know. It's like I like
You've
no
never
matter
met anyone.
no matter what I
this,
do,
built like this.
like games, bowling, mini golf, like I won't play certain games because I know I suck at them. Like when I was younger, we were playing this dice game with my grandfather. Yeah,
It's
right.
actually really smart.
We were playing this dice game with my grandfather, and we'd roll the dice, and I think he rolled like a 6, or I rolled him a 6, and he's like, "All right," and I'm like, "No, that was my turn," and I like move my space because I'm just so competitive, and I feel like. Because even though I'm winning a lot, I still am like losing matches, and every time I lose a match, it just pushes me to want to do better. And like even this past weekend, I was this close to winning the Triple Crown without losing a game, and I was like so upset after the Kate match. I'm like, oh, I really wish I had won that in 2. Like it's just I'm so nitpicky. Like I'm such a perfectionist that I don't know. I'm a little crazy, to be honest. I think that's what it is.
I totally
Like,
resonate. I'm an OCD perfectionist. Like Dane, when he first started working with me, he's like, dude, it doesn't matter if everything isn't perfect. Like you spend so much time color correcting everything, like the community's curating. I'm like, dude, it all matters. Every single detail matters. I hate losing. I hate like sports. Unfortunately, I'm not as good at sports as you are, but like games, board games, I'm a freak. Like I just hate losing.
Yeah.
And I get it. I totally get it.
I mean, like you should hear some of our like timeout talks. Like she'll have won the first game, whatever. This is in singles. First game, whatever. She's up like 9-2 in the second game. She misses like a forehand, calls a timeout, and she comes over and she's like, I missed the forehand. And I'm like, this
My mom
is
says stop. Yeah.
self-imposed anxiety,
Stop
Anna Leigh.
inflicting
You're playing
anxiety on
insane. You
yourself.
miss one ball, but she's such a perfectionist.
Yeah.
That like just missing that one ball.
But it sometimes is a bit much. Like I think it's probably an extreme. Like sometimes
There's some self-awareness.
shouldn't-
I like that.
No, it's definitely self-aware,
Yeah.
especially recently. Like my mom's been really on me. Like, come on, Anna Leigh. Like she calls it crazy talk when I get into crazy talk because I get off on a different planet and it's too much. And like you said, I'm self-aware. I'm trying to be better at it, but good and bad. I think that's too why like when I'm down in a match, I'm like screaming to myself, like, like because that's just who I am.
Do you think it ever becomes too much? Like you're doing this week in and week out, you're going through these stressful situations. Like, is there ever the moment of like how do you keep doing it? And also, maybe taking a little break. Like,
no, yeah. I mean, we talk about it all the time. I think the time I'm usually in my like mentally in my worst state is when there's like 2 tournaments in a row, weekends or 3 weekends in a row. Like just the in a row stuff, like usually like can get to me
because you have to turn on that killer instinct,
I just
right?
have to stay on. And it's also there's a big difference in a tournament making it to the finals of all three versus like making it to the finals of one, or like it's such a physical like battle to warm up for every match. Like before singles, I'm hitting balls for an hour just before I play my singles match. Then I play my singles match. Then I'm hitting for 30 minutes before my mixed match. Like every day, like
It's
just
insane.
having that, just playing that much pickleball is like absurd. Last year I had like towards the end of last year, I was like starting to get injured or whatever, but I had this eye twitch problem where I was so stressed out, my eye was just twitching and I couldn't get it to
I
stop.
hate eye twitches.
It's like Jared like 90% of the time.
You
like-
probably never know. It's
I
terrible.
was-
I mean, so it definitely gets, there have been points in my career where I've just been like, I really need a break. Like I need to not play pickleball. But I think I do a pretty good job after tournaments. Like since Atlanta, I haven't hit. It's been like 3 days. I haven't touched a paddle.
Really?
I've done recovery stuff. But yeah, so it could be anywhere from like 2 days to some days I don't even hit until Friday.
So that's on
After a
purpose. Like
tournament.
On purpose.
after a week or after 2 weeks of playing, we're just not going to touch a paddle for 3-4
Yeah,
days.
because like Anna Leigh said, like, and people like Paris and Federico have spoken about it this year about, wow, being in all three finals, it's they didn't realize till they did it, like what it does to your body, your brain, everything.
I can't even imagine.
And she's doing it not every tournament, but regularly. And it just is a grind on just everything. And so I think we've done a better job this year,
Of, like,
which I
not
think is
playing.
another reason why you kind of got emotional, because she hasn't played all three events at every tournament. And we're doing that on purpose just
Yeah.
because it is such a toll.
Yeah.
And like you're competing against people that aren't doing that. So they're fresher.
Have an advantage.
Like they
yeah.
have the advantage. Like when they meet
Well,
you on that
also-
Sunday.
Also, a lot of people that play doubles that don't play singles, they only work on double stuff. Whereas
100%.
I'm having to work on single stuff and double
Yeah.
stuff. So that also puts me at like a little bit of a disadvantage.
I thought about that too, like, because, singles is probably what I'm best at. But if I just stop training singles for a little while and just focus on doubles, like, does the singles help my doubles or not? I feel like for you, though, it probably helps your doubles and mixed.
I think
quite
I
a
think
bit.
so. Yeah, I think so.
I think it helps.
Yeah.
I just don't know how y'all do it.
I definitely
Even if you're
think,
not making the finals of all
I
three.
think the main like a big, I don't want to say problem, but like last year we didn't have MLP, or we didn't have it until
Yeah.
like later. But this year, like with all the MLP events added to the PPA schedule, and they didn't really like tone down the PPA events,
Yeah.
it's like we're playing a full like basketball season and like full tennis season,
Yeah.
like all in one. So I definitely think they need to figure out how to like lessen events somewhere. Like we just need to have less, because right now it's too much.
being you, how involved are you involved in that process at all in the scheduling?
Not as much as people think. I mean, I have like no say.
Really? So
And, like-
Connor won't call you and be like, "Hey, like, is this too much?"
No, I wish.
No, I call Connor and I'm like, hey, this is too much.
What, what did he say?
I mean, he's like, we're working on it. I mean, pickleball is still a baby. The
Yeah.
tour is still so
Yeah.
they're just trying to figure it out. I think right now they're just trying to get a ton of eyeballs on the
Yeah,
sport. So
TV
as many
deal.
tournaments as
Yeah.
possible. And obviously they want the best players playing all the tournaments. So they figure out ways to like
Yeah.
make you play in a sense.
I actually talked to
So-
Connor about that, and we talked about you specifically, was just when they tried to do like the semifinal Saturday, a lot of that was because of you. Because, I mean, you're playing so many matches in
Yeah.
those few days. And if we can take one match, like
Yeah, I
one
didn't mind that
semifinal.
format.
Yeah,
one
in Cape
day.
Coral, I
They-
played 5 mixed matches in one day.
That's
Yeah.
that's just
It's
too
like
much.
So I don't think that's safe.
Connor, or the PPA likes to say it sucks to be good, because these are all problems, but they're good problems. You
For
know?
sure, for sure.
Until-
Yeah, you only have the problems if you're winning, right?
Yeah.
So I have a question around the dog mentality and the perfectionist and the winner that you are. So I see a lot of players, and I talked to Roscoe about this. Roscoe is one of my best friends in the sport, and I feel like I try to play like a mentor role in just any way I can. And like I see players after tournaments at dinners and hanging out and, having fun. I think like we'll go to dinner with Roscoe and Yates and Hunter. And then I see players who I don't see hanging out at all at tournaments, like you and Ben, and I don't really see Christian. There's a handful of players. And then I think about people like Michael Jordan, Tiger Woods, Kobe Bryant. And my question is it because you're exhausted? Is it because you don't want to be friends with your enemies, like your competition?
I think it's a lot of everything.
Yeah.
But I think one thing too is like when you're at the top, a lot of like the pros don't want to be like friends with you. Like they don't like you because
Yeah.
you're good. So I
Yeah.
feel like one thing is like a lot of people on tour, I don't want to say don't like me, but they're not going to want to be like best friends with me.
Does that bother you?
It did when I was younger because
Yeah.
like it was worse when I was younger because people would like say bad things
Yeah.
behind my back. Whereas I feel like now like I've gained respect and like
Yeah.
a lot most of the pros like respect me, so they won't say like nasty things behind my back, but they also won't like be my friend, which
They're not overly friendly.
yeah, they're not overly friendly.
But are you? Do you actually want to be friends with them? Because I feel like you want to kill them.
No, I know. That's where it's in like a tough spot. Like I like when you're my friend, I have like trouble playing you.
Yeah.
And I hate that. Like
Right.
I hate being on court and like not wanting to beat somebody. Like,
Would you
really
rather be the
bad.
best ever, or would you rather be like really, really good and have more?
No,
friends?
I'd rather be the best ever. Like I'd rather have my mom as my best friend, which
Yeah.
is like now. But no, I think that's the main thing is like I really don't want to get a really close relationship with
Yeah.
someone to the point where like
You can't
when I play them, like even with Catherine, like when I'm playing Catherine, it's like I feel like both ways. It's like, oh, like, but you're my friend. Like
Yeah.
this is so weird. So like,
Was that
so,
the
yeah.
idea behind the bus?
Oh, the bus? No, I mean the idea behind the bus was a lot of the at a lot of the tournaments, the pro tent is outside
Yeah.
or like in the heat, and that was just killing me.
But also to keep her away from the drama. I mean,
Yeah.
there's so much drama going
Well, like
on.
the one
all
time
the
that she went in the pro tent for something, like the person, like somebody sees her and like starts like saying something like, "Oh, like the bus is taking up 6 spots in the park." Like they were like,
Yeah, really.
Yeah, thanks for
Saying-
that. Every time I try to go park.
You're doing things that are unprecedented in the sport. And sometimes people will be like, I'll post like the GOAT about you and Ben, and people are like, oh, it's so early. Like,
Yeah.
and I truly believe there's not going to be someone better ever. I believe
well,
that.
I mean, when you like throw around the term GOAT, greatest of all time, so it's like if you're going by records, I think it's going to be pretty hard for somebody to like break Ben and I's records. And I feel like that's kind of like with the GOAT, like whoever has the most best record,
Totally.
like maybe it has been easier for us because we got the sport at a young or at,
Yeah.
like its infancy, but still we were able to like, do these things.
But do you like? So there's like Serena Williams.
Yeah.
There's Caitlin Clark. Right. Do you feel like you're? And I it's probably a tough question to answer. Maybe it's not. But like, do you feel like you're on that level of?
Well, I'm going to say no just because not as many people know who I am as them. But if you're talking about sport, like I feel like I'm the best in my sport. So like
You're on that
technically,
level. You are.
I should be, but
Is
like
it a goal of yours to reach the amount of people and affect the amount of people that a Serena Williams and a Caitlin Clark?
yes and
have
no. I would. I don't want it to affect like my everyday life. Like I feel like they have to live a specific life, which my mom's always like warned me about like what's going on because like it's not happening yet. But like if pickleball continues to grow, like you can't go out to like restaurant or you can't go
Yeah.
to the movies. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I really like that part of it. I'm not necessarily looking forward to, but I'm also, if it gets to that point, looking forward to being able to like inspire that many people or like you said, like affect that many people. And it also would be really cool to say that I was able to do that, you know, to
I
get
think
to that
going back
stage.
to your question, like how do you stay so driven and like want to like win and stuff? I mean, sort of one of the mindsets that we've kind of had going forward is like you have won 34. How many triple crowns do you want to win so badly, or how many titles?
As many as there
and
are.
kind of what I've said to her is like you've done a lot of the hard work. Look at what you've already done. Like maybe start thinking about pickleball as not so much like wins and losses, but like this is the catalyst to do so many freaking cool things that I could
That's what
never
I
do
think.
if I didn't have the sport.
When you're fighting harder than anyone in the draw to make sure you get that triple crown, and it's like this girl's done it 33 times beforehand. how many? And I'm not saying it's not why you're amazing, but it's just I think so interesting to other people that you're still so motivated after accomplishing
I don't
so
think
much
it's
at 18.
interesting. I think it makes total sense. I really do.
I just-
why do something if you don't
You're an
want
anomaly, my friend.
I feel like it's because like deep down I know I can do it. So like if I don't do that, I feel like in a way I'm like letting myself down
Yeah.
or like not achieving my
Yeah.
potential. Like if I don't win a triple crown in a tournament, I'm like, I know I could have won a triple crown. Like this kind of sucks.
Yeah.
But then I'm also like, all right, let's go work harder.
I mean, every time she's lost, it's been horrible for like an hour or two after, like really, really
And
horrible.
then you go to dinner.
And then we go to dinner. No, but it's always like driven her to want to be better. And that's what I try to remind her in those hours of like craziness is that like use it.
Yeah.
Like, use it. Every time this has happened, you've used it. And like every time it happens again, you're going to use it. And like, it's not so practical anymore to win every people are too good. Paddles are too good. Whatever it is, like, it's gonna just get harder and harder. And not that you want to get used to losing, but you have to figure out a way to
deal
like
with it.
understand how to use it to make yourself better, which you've always done in the past.
And does it have to be pickleball? Because you said like use this as a platform,
No.
springboard to something different. Like
Totally.
what else is there? Like I know y'all love food.
Yeah.
Could you see yourself being a food blogger? Like if we sell the kitchen one day, I want to do food. Like I love food. I think it'd be so fun. Like you just play with Agassi. Like, you know, we just went to Necker Island. I think pickleball has given so many people an opportunity to do some of the coolest stuff ever.
No, for
Amazing
sure.
travel.
100%.
But do you get to do that given your training regimen? Do you feel like you're missing out? Like, could you go into like...
I feel like this year I'm getting ready to do some really cool stuff.
Yeah.
Like we're going somewhere right after this tournament that I'm really excited about.
For pickleball or for fun?
Kind of both.
Can you share it?
I can tell you where we're going.
Okay.
We're going to New York.
Okay.
Right after for a couple days. And the thing is, like, I would take those days off anyway. So it's like, it works in like the training schedule. And actually, like, we figured out that usually, like, when I come back from like a vacation or something and like have a couple days to like train before the tournament, I actually like do better in the tournament because I'm mentally like, we figured out the best mental headspace that I'm in, the better I play. Whether I played for 2 days or 5 days before the tournament,
like anything in life.
it's
really.
just like all about like mind space or headspace. So I think this year I'm trying to do better at giving myself more breaks because last year I felt like I didn't give myself like any.
Yeah, and if you can't enjoy yourself or have some reward, I mean, what are you doing it for? You know?
Yeah.
And that's what I've told her too. When she's like, I can't take those days, and I'm like,
yeah,
that's my biggest thing.
You gotta
her
enjoy
self
life.
talks have
Gotta-
been like recently like have fun out there. Pickleball is just a gateway to like your greatness.
You're actually trying to make her do less in sorts, like make her not train so hard and stuff. I'm not saying that in a bad way, but you know what I mean? Like bring her
because
down
of the time
to,
she spends on a court at a tournament. I just don't think it's realistic to come back home and do 2-a-days and hit the gym for those 4 days before the next turn.
Yeah.
You know, it's just.
I mean, I think in 100 years, perhaps you will be remembered, but most people will not be remembered in 100 years. I don't think the kitchen will be a thing in 100 years. It puts everything into perspective. I also think having a daughter for me has put everything into perspective. And like, I feel like it's made me really want to focus on joy.
Yeah.
And enjoying life. And winning is a joy for sure.
Yeah.
But also like being present and remembering that everything's just a blip in the universe. Like a loss really doesn't matter in the grand scheme of everything going on. I think there's something to that. Like I'm constantly stressed. Like and Dane is constantly stressed. And we're really trying to live into that of like, none of it matters.
No.
And it all does matter. It's this weird.
Well, and the other thing, like, sometimes after she loses, she'll be like, well, it's not really that I lost, but it's like social media is going to blow up and it's all people are going to talk about. And then I go back to, well, if you don't read it, you don't know it's there.
Yeah.
it's true.
You don't know
We've
it's
tried
there.
to be kind. We've always tried to.
No,
we did post Lobgate once.
Yeah, I'm not
No, but
going
it's more.
to
It's more.
collaborate
It's
on the
not.
logo.
It's not
Did
necessarily
I collab you? I think I
Tried
did.
to collab me when I was like, sorry.
It's not
Jared, that's
necessarily
not
like
right
the
there.
posts that are being made, like PPA being like, "Oh, upset," like that. It's the comments that. It's all the
cares?
comments
Do you know how
of
many
people
people
saying.
are haters on
No,
the
I
kitchen?
know.
Like,
Yeah.
you're never gonna do anything substantial in life where you don't have haters.
No,
Yeah.
Period.
totally.
Just never gonna happen.
Totally.
I think this leads to a good question of, we talked about joy. We talked about pickleball being a gateway to do amazing things. You're Anna Leigh Waters 10 years from now. You're looking back. What do you want to do? And what do you see yourself doing then?
Well, on one side of my head, I'm like, I hope I'm still playing professional pickleball, and on the other side, I'm like, I really hope I'm not playing professional pickleball. So it's like I'm
Really?
torn. I'm like torn because like I feel like pickleball is a sport that you could play professionally, especially doubles, like mid-30s.
You'll
like
be 28. Like,
no,
Yeah.
like,
Could
I
be
know
your
I'll
prime.
be 28. Like I'll be pretty young.
I think it probably depends on if the Olympics thing looks like it might happen.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing. I also like one side like really want to like have like a family at like that time. Like I don't know. That's always like I've always thought like, oh, because my mom had me at 27, so I'm
Oh, wow.
always like, oh, kind of like want to start a family young, but then I'm also like, there's time for that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm torn. I think it probably depends too if I'm like burnt out like
Yeah.
in 10 years, because have played professional pickleball for almost 20 years at that point.
400 triple crowns.
The other
Like,
cool thing about
crazy.
pickleball is like we talk about all the cool things that we've gotten to do, but think about all the people we've gotten to meet.
100%.
Like
Yeah.
multiple billionaires, like some of the most
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not many
important
people can say they know as many people as like we've
It's
met.
insane.
And, like,
I mean,
she's-
yeah.
You've
been-
got to meet
I
Doug
mean-
Ellen through pickleball. You know how cool that
right?
is?
But I mean, you say 10 years from now, you already have, I mean, some of those people you have really close relationships. Like, you don't know how that might like tangent
100%,
off.
100%.
There's also so many things in pickleball that I could do if I didn't want to play anymore, you know? So it's,
But I think that's interesting. Like you just played with Agassi. Like that was a big deal. And I
Yeah,
think
that
was
was
super cool.
awesome.
And I feel like I think you just turning 18 changes, I think maybe brands and people who are
100%.
inviting you to
Yeah.
things.
No doubt.
B, I think the Agassi thing, and then you just did the interview with Leinert and the
Turtle.
Turtle.
Throwback.
Like
Turtle.
I feel like this is just the beginning of crazy stuff, and you've already met and
I think
so many
so.
crazy
No, I think
people.
so, too.
I remember we were driving in Palm Springs to this dude Gala. You know Gala? His
He's
house.
a really
Oh,
sick
is that the
indoor
house?
court.
I've seen the pictures.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm with Jason. We're driving there, and Phil Knight is walking down the
No
street.
way.
And that was one of those. I've probably had a dozen moments where I pinched myself. I'm like, where am I? Like, how did I
Yeah.
get? How am I sitting in a hot tub with Richard Branson? But like,
Yeah,
but like
seriously.
I like had a 30-minute
was
conversation.
literally
just
me,
Richard.
you, and
I was
Branson.
like, so like, I think this is just the beginning.
I think so.
And are you stoked about that?
No, I'm excited, especially like after this past tournament. I was proving to myself kind of that I'm like, all right, I'm still like here. Because after North Carolina, I was in like a weird headspace for like a couple weeks, and I was like, all right, I was able to bounce back. I'm like, this just kind of made me feel relaxed in knowing if there's another like loss of a tournament or loss of a match, knowing that like I could come back from it. And then I was kind of like, okay, now I'm excited to do other things,
Yeah.
you know, in a way. So I think it's like little like dips and like the little highs that honestly make for like the big highs.
Yeah.
Cause like my mom said, you have to lose sometimes, no matter what you're doing to like
The losses
get
make
better.
the wins. that
No,
much
I
better.
know. It's true. Like this Triple Crown wouldn't have felt as good if I hadn't lost in both finals in North Carolina. Like it just wouldn't have.
How would Anna Leigh do in a men's singles draw? And who is the worst men's player that she could beat? Did I say that
Like
right?
who-
Where do you think you would end up in a men's singles draw?
Playing someone like Roscoe, I'd probably get annihilated because I probably like his serve.
very
I
generous.
mean, we
And
do
him-
have a court right
and
here.
him no, just because he's so tall. Like
Yeah.
I'm really good at passing, so like tall guys with a ton of power are usually like James Ignatowicz in practice, like kind of like tough.
Christian.
In practice, but then
Can
like
you beat them?
I haven't played Christian in
Long
a
time,
while.
Have you beaten him in practice?
Like
Yes.
when he first started
Because when he
playing.
first started playing, we'd train all the time and I'd beat him a lot. And then he beat me like 3 times in a row. And he's like, all right, like I'm too good to practice with you anymore or something.
But you were also like, all right, yeah, I don't want to do this.
Yeah, I was like, okay, well, I still have more wins over you than you have over me.
Ooh, I like
But,
that.
Could you beat Ryan Sherry? Remember that was a
yes,
thing?
for sure.
Ooh.
Like,
Ryan wants to play
Ryan
her
wants to
so
play,
bad.
would you do it?
But like,
If there's a lot of money on the line.
depends. What's a lot of money, I guess?
Hey, that's a great,
That's true.
very
I feel like
relative.
that's changed for you too,
No,
probably.
yeah, I mean, I don't even know sometimes where I stand in that.
If
but
there is
it's like
$250,000 on the line to play Ryan Sherry, would you do it?
maybe. But think about in 5 years if I played somebody, what it could be.
No, but I want you to think about that number. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm gonna make it
And how
happen.
badly would you win?
Oh, I don't know. It depends the conditions. Like,
Hold on.
how long has Ryan been training?
Did he go-
Ryan
was
have
he
a
out
night
till
out?
5 a.m.?
Yeah. Is it hot outside? Like, is this 3 out of 5? Is it 2 out of 3? Like, a lot of things were being thrown. Is Ryan using what paddle is Ryan using? Like,
Yeah, what are your thoughts on this whole paddle situation? Like obviously we
It's
got
nuts, man.
we got Jason involved. Jason's an owner of the kitchen, but he's now the president of UPA doing like they're bringing people on to really try
Yeah.
and dial this paddle situation in. But it clearly can give people an advantage on the court. I mean,
yeah.
I know it's been a
paddle now. It's come a long way.
I also feel like my paddle's not foam injected. Switching to a foam injected paddle, I think, would take time to get used to.
Yeah.
And I feel like right now, like in the middle of the season, is not the time to switch to that.
Yeah, totally.
Like if you're gonna do that, you have to do it at the end of the season. when
Although
you have
other
the
people
month
seem to
or-
do it and they like get
oh, it's
I,
Get
I
better
think you probably, I
instantly.
think you
Yeah.
probably figure it out pretty quickly.
Yeah.
yeah.
Do we think foam should be allowed in paddles?
don't think
when we
so.
first started this, like I even said to Jason like a year ago, why don't we just ban foam
Because
injected
that's creating
paddles?
all the problems.
That's the problem is the foam injection. And he said, well, we're too young in the sport to like be hindering
Nerf
technology.
Yeah.
Which part of me agrees with in terms of like, we don't want to hinder technology, but we want to make sure that the game's not getting too fast or too crazy to the point where guys are out here just bending the ball and
beyond the
beaming it
power,
through.
honestly, spin's a problem too.
I think spin,
Because-
because if you have a ton of power, you can't keep it in the court. Versus the more spin you have, it's not like you're going to hit it in the net. Like, you know?
People are hitting. I mean, 5 years ago, people were not hitting these shots.
No, like,
but I also think
no.
there's like 5 years ago on TV doesn't look as good as it looks on TV now.
True.
But I also think right now is a bit extreme. Like I feel like we need to come back a little bit, but I also don't feel like we should go back like all the way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I say like the thermoform like level of like 2023, beginning of 2024, like pickleball singles was kind of the prime in terms of
like that
I
was
think,
like Yola
skill
Gen
and-
1.
Yeah.
Was that Gen 1?
I don't even know, but
Gen 2? Gen
Like
2.
now some of the guys in
Gen
singles,
2. I think
some
Gen
of the
2
guys
was
are
it.
coming in from pro singles or or pro tennis or D1 tennis, and they're able to learn the game in like 2 weeks.
Do you feel like ripped off a little bit? You're like, I just put in 10
No,
years.
honestly,
Well, I think it's the reason why she and Ben and Catherine are still at the top of the game because, like Roscoe said
Yeah.
earlier, you had to learn how to
But
like.
I've also had to
do
learn,
everything on
I've
your
also
own.
had to learn the past year how to shape the ball more, because like if you
and
look
like
at my
let your wrist go.
yeah, if you looked
That's-
at my
yeah.
speed up like 2 years ago from some of the videos
Yeah.
you post, I'm like pushing like all my speed ups, and now I'm like completely swinging.
for sure.
So it's like it's a different game.
I don't know. I'm interested to see come September 1, like when most of these paddles aren't legal anymore, what happens?
Is that true? Do we know if some of these
That's
paddles
what
aren't going to be
we've
That's what
legal?
we've heard.
Jason's outside. Should we get him in?
We can get inside, yeah.
Just turn this into that podcast.
Will you and Anna Bright ever lose?
Don't say that.
I mean,
I
This
was
is what
watching
I
it. I was like,
don't
there's
I'll
no
need.
knock on
way.
wood.
Yeah.
I mean, but like, God, I don't know. Like,
I mean, I,
I
feel
guess
like there's
Georgia and
always
Tyra
some
maybe,
scenario.
or like
You
Yeah,
never
maybe
know.
like
Catherine and
maybe
Ray.
we've played 3 weeks in a row. I've had 2 MLPs and then there's a PPA, and like I'm just like.
but remember,
out
if
of
you
it.
do lose, it's okay.
Yeah, totally.
Right? Like,
What
Yeah.
was
Totally.
Georgia, Tyra, was anyone else in the
the running.
suggestion box? Yeah.
No, I was kind of like, if I'm gonna do this, I feel like Anna is the way to go. I've played with her before. I knew we had done well, and in my opinion, she is better than Tyra and Georgia. But I'm saying right now, like I definitely think Tyra and Georgia have a lot of potential. I think Anna has potential to get better too. So in my head, it was like right now, like who am I most comfortable with, because I knew I had played with her, and Georgia and Tyra, I feel like their game styles are a lot more different from Catherine. Whereas like Anna is more aggressive than Catherine, but plays similar, I
Yeah.
think. Whereas Catherine and Georgia, like even when I'm playing against them, like I don't
Tyra and
necessarily, Tyra and Georgia, when I'm playing against them, I don't necessarily know what they're gonna do, So I
Yeah.
feel like playing with them might have freaked me out a little
Yeah,
bit
yeah.
more than playing with Anna, who I had played with before. So I think but I think they're very good players and obviously at the top of the game right now.
Will there be a rivalry with one of these teams, do you think? Or like who do you feel is I guess your rival? Well, let's say singles first and then also doubles.
Well, singles, I'm going to say Kate, just because if I don't play a tournament, she seems to win it. So I feel like is the second best right now. But that doesn't necessarily mean matchup against me. That just means in general.
Women's doubles might be tough because I don't know if there's another team that's going to consistently play every tournament together.
And I honestly
like
think,
Rachel and Anna
True.
did.
I
you know?
honestly think too, when you play the same team over and over again, like Rachel and Anna last year, like Catherine and I eventually like figured out the strategy. I feel like honestly, it might be better to like, which I probably shouldn't say this because I'm giving people help, but like mixing it up, because then you're like not seeing
Yeah,
the same.
totally.
Whereas like if Georgia and Tyra were to play together every single, I'm just using them as an example, or Paris and Tyra or whoever were to play together every single tournament, the strategy would get more obvious you know what I mean? You'd get
it's like
more
a baseball
comfortable.
pitcher facing a batter for the first time, and then
Yeah.
next time they understand it more.
I want to ask, what's the craziest fan interact? Like as the tours
this
grown.
isn't fan. Okay, I'll tell you a fan interaction, but then I'll also tell you. I'll start with the Las Vegas interaction. So we're in Las
Maybe we
Vegas.
should-
There's a name to this.
No,
we got to hear.
We're
We
in
gotta
Las
hear.
Vegas, and EDC is going on. So there are a lot of people who are on some things, and we're in this hotel, and this guy's walking out with a beer, and my grandma, who's late 70s, is like going through the door, and he like sees her and he's like, out of the way, bitch. And
No
he like
way.
goes like this.
Oh,
And
I would've-
like hits my grandma. And my dad like shoves him out of the way, like grabs Gaga, like comes to the rescue. Like he's on it. Like if somebody's gonna like touch our family,
Yeah.
like he's on it.
Did you want to go to EDC at all? Okay.
Please, no.
But if I went to EDC, I wouldn't be like the people who go to EDC. But craziest fan interaction, in Seattle, this was in 2022. I was like running off the court, or we were hitting on a warm-up court. You know, there's no warm-up courts, so you hop courts at tournaments. So you're always in the pickleball community. And most of the time, it's like awesome.
Yeah.
But we were running off the court, and this guy, like, it's like, oh my gosh, Anna Leigh. And he's like a bigger guy, and he gives me this bear hug. And like, I felt something in my chest.
Did you like
pop.
give him did you like show that you want to give him a hug?
I was kind of like, I don't know, my arms might have been in a weird spot, but he like grabs me and I feel this pop in my chest. And I'm like, whatever, like, it's fine. So I play the rest of the day. I wake up, or I go to sleep. I wake up the next morning and I can't get out of bed. Like I try to like push up and I'm like, oh, like it hurts really bad. So then I like swivel out of bed and I somehow like finish the tournament, but it like gets worse. Like I think then we were going to LA for another tournament and I was like, oh, having to play this tournament with like this chest like problem from this fan hug. And then when we got home, I went and got a scan done. And what did
Some
he do? It was
condition,
it
I
was
don't
some weird,
remember.
like nothing had been broken or
Did he
cracked or
cause it?
anything. Yeah, he caused it, but it was
Wow.
some like I was having trouble like breathing. Like it was some like weird, it was like a name this long that
Yeah.
like had happened to me from
Wow.
this. And I did not play, I had to not work out. Like I could like dink around a little bit, but I couldn't work out for 2 weeks.
Okay, so
like,
do
because of
not
it.
hug Anna Leigh.
Or if you do like
you're a
soft
fan.
hug,
that's like
don't,
no
like,
that's like a
hugs.
crazy thing to
squeeze.
do with
No,
any
that's-
female player
Yeah.
anywhere, like any woman, like
Yeah.
just go hugging random women, like just
Oh,
don't do
Anna
that.
Leigh, like
Jared's
yeah.
a big hugger though,
No, I would never do
especially
that.
at the sites.
And if anyone ever did that to my, but I do have a question. So I think it's amazing that like y'all get to do this together. I think Steven being the father, you being the mom that y'all are is like super inspirational. I was like getting teary eyed. But so I have a question about what just happened with Hayden.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Big H.
My first question before we get to you, Anna Leigh, is when that happens, Leigh, and Steven's over here, he's behind us. Does that like, are y'all like, do you go into like protective mode? Or do you say, all right, Anna Leigh's
I did.
18-year-old,
We
she
both
can
did, I
figure
think.
Mom
it
wasn't
out?
upset that Hayden had called me what he did. She was upset that the guy,
Yeah, I didn't
guy
care.
on the
I
shock
didn't-
had shoved me. And my dad and Eric just like ran down to the court because like if something was gonna happen, they wanted to be there, I guess. My main problem was I felt like he meant it. Like when he
What
said
happened
it.
leading up to that? Were you
Well,
just fiery?
So no, like Hayden and I when we play each other, he always chirps at me and like I usually don't chirp back when people chirp at me, but with Hayden, like I always do. Like and it's usually like super
you're
lighthearted.
friends?
Yeah, like
Okay.
we're really good friends off the court. And so during the match, like Will had like body bagged Hayden like 6 times or something. And on match point, he like hits him again. And I like chuckle because I always thought it was pretty funny.
Pretty funny, yeah.
high,
thought it was pretty funny.
High emotions too, like MLP.
Oh yeah, like high
Yeah.
emotions. And he like at the paddle tap, he goes, "Why are you laughing at me? Like stop laughing at me." And then I said something to him about like him hitting me the ball and like what happens like when he hits me the ball or something. Like I made, because like usually in mixed doubles, like he hits a lot to Will, and I like the last time we had played was like, "Oh, hit me the ball," and I was like, "Oh, see what happens," something like that. And then he looks at me and he goes, and he said the B word.
Yeah.
And then I was like, "What did you just call me?" And he goes, "You're an effing whatever." But he was like staring me in the eyes, totally serious. I was like, that's not a joke. Like I know when somebody's like, if he had been like, "Oh, like you're a whatever,"
yeah.
jokingly, I would have been fine. But he like looked me in the eyes and like I felt like he really meant it.
It felt like personal.
It felt like super personal. So once again, heat of the moment. So
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, we're gonna talk about this. So like I wasn't gonna go over and like punch him like people were saying that I was going over to get physical. I was just going over to like be like, hey, like come on, like
I
why-
love it. I
why
respect
would you
that.
say that?
I
to
thought it
me?
was badass. I would have been scared. Like if, like
if Anna Leigh came over,
100%.
I mean, everyone in the kitchen was like, had your back. People were
Yeah.
like, that's right. Anna Leigh
Yeah.
Waters, like, do not F
Well,
with
like
Anna Leigh
he can
Waters.
say that to me, but like there's gonna be consequences to
Dude,
somebody
you
calling
are
somebody
a woman.
else a
Yes,
whatever.
like you
like
should. I love it.
yeah. So I was just kind of I was more hurt by it than anything because I was like, oh, I thought like we're friends, like, and then you say that to me, so I was just a little hurt by it. And then when the guys started getting in my way, I'm like, what are you doing? I'm just trying to talk to Hayden, like, what's going
who
on?
Are you? Like,
yeah, he's
who
like
are you?
pushing
That was
his
the
stomach
weird
into
part.
me.
That was the weird
that
part.
was like
that was the part that made me mad. It was like,
and the fact that there was no
him-
like repercussion to him like actually like shoving me, because I didn't initiate hitting him. I was trying to get out of the way of him, and he kept putting his body like in front of me.
Yeah.
Which was weird. Like, did he really think I was gonna go and start something? Like,
And even if you did, like,
yeah. So I don't know. That
Hayden
was
can take care
weird,
of
but
himself.
I don't hold a grudge.
Thanks for coming out. I think it was really cool just to like hear some of these answers to questions that it's not just us, but like so many people want to know.
Yeah,
And,
you guys ask questions we don't get asked.
good.
Good,
That's
good.
what we're here to
I've
do.
done a lot of
Yeah.
interviews. I have like some answers rehearsed that I like, but I didn't use any of those today. So.
Good. Well, yeah, I'm super appreciative that y'all made the time. I know that both of y'all are extremely busy. And like I said, just I hope I didn't get to say this, but I hope you do play more.
oh,
Like y'all
thanks.
playing together is my
It's
favorite.
fun.
It's
I
my
agree.
favorite thing to watch
It's so
in
fun.
pickleball.
It is fun.
And good luck on continued success and at
Thank you.
MLP and
You guys
and
too.
beyond.